mammary gland during resting phase or inactive phase. We can see the mammary gland consists of a small duct system with a small and rudimentary secretory portion or alveoli. In general, each mammary gland consists from 15 to 25 lobes of compound tubulo-alveolar glands. In the resting stage, we can see small branch ducts with a small rudimentary secretory portion or alveoli. These glands, tubulo-alveolar glands, are embedded in fibroelastic stroma. This is connective tissue stroma. Mammary gland during resting or inactive phase. Small duct system with a small and rudimentary alveoli embedded within fibro or connective tissue stroma. Second phase or second slide, section in mammary gland during pregnancy. Both the alveoli and ducts are dilated by the accumulation of colostrum. The connective tissue is reduced in this phase. Alveoli, duct filled with colostrum. Colostrum is a fluid rich in proteins and leukocytes. This is mammary gland during pregnancy. We can see the alveoli and ducts are dilated by accumulation of colostrum. At the tip of the pointer, we can see the colostrum found within the lumen of both duct and alveoli. The lining epithelium of the duct, interlobular, lactiferous ducts is simple cuboidal epithelium. The alveoli is also lined with simple cuboidal epithelium. The third phase is the lactation phase. This slide is section in the mammary gland during lactation. We can see the alveoli are filled with milk. Appears as an acidophilic material with vacuoles. Mammary gland during lactation filled with acidophilic milk. With very little amount of connective tissue. This slide is section in the testes, the first part of the male reproductive system. Each testis is surrounded by connective tissue, capsule called tunica albuginea. Tunica albuginea thickens on the posterior side, forming the mediastinum testis. Within the mediastinum testis, we can see an epithelium lined channels. These channels are called citrate segments or citrate tubules, embedded within mediastinum testis. This region called mediastinum testis. Within this region, we can see a citrate tubules or straight segments connect the seminiferous tubules to the retitestis. These epithelial lined channels lined with simple cuboidal epithelium to form the retitestis. Straight segment lined with simple cuboidal epithelium. Sometimes only Sertoli cells connect seminiferous tubules with retitestis. And this is the mediastinum testis, connective tissue layer. Retitestis lined with simple cuboidal epithelium. Straight segment lined initial portion lined with only Sertoli cells. Each testis can be divided into testicular lobules. Each lobule has from 250 to 1,000 convoluted tubules called seminiferous tubules. At the tip of the pointer, we can see the seminiferous tubule. The connective tissue between the seminiferous tubules called interstitial tissue. Interstitial tissue found between the seminiferous tubules consists of connective tissue with fibroblasts, blood vessels, and interstitial cells or Leydig cells. These cells are small, rounded, with spherical nuclei. These cells secrete testosterone. Leydig or interstitial cells found within interstitial tissue between the seminiferous tubules. This structure is seminiferous tubule. This is the basement membrane of seminiferous tubule, the inner layer of the basement membrane. Within this layer, we can see a smooth-like cell called myoid cell. This is the nucleus of myoid cell. Tamam? Nucleus of myoid cell found in the inner layer of the basal lamina surrounding the seminiferous tubule. The lining epithelium of seminiferous tubule called germinal epithelium or spermatogenic epithelium consists of two types of cells. At the tip of the pointer, we can see the Sertoli cell. Sertoli cell is tall, columnar, or pyramidal in shape. This is another one. Sertoli cell, tall, columnar, or pyramidal in shape. Adhere to the basement membrane and extend to the lumen. Sertoli cell. The other type of germinal epithelium cells called spermatogenic cells. At the tip of the pointer is the spermatogonia. Spermatogonia located next to the basement membrane. The largest cell in the spermatogenic epithelium called the primary spermatocyte. The largest cell in the spermatogenic epithelium called the primary spermatocyte. This cell is characterized by the presence of partially condensed chromosomes in various stages of synapses and recombination. Primary spermatocyte, spermatogonia, primary spermatocyte. Secondary spermatocytes are not seen in this section because they are short-lived cells. Secondary spermatocyte divide and giving rise to a primary or spermatid, early spermatid. Early spermatid has haploid number of chromosomes. They are small, rounded structures. Early spermatid. Near the lumen, at the tip of the pointer, we can see the late spermatid appear as elongated and darkly stained. Spermatogonia, a primary spermatocyte, early spermatid, and late spermatid. This is the nucleus of myoid cell. This region called mediastinum testis. Within this region, we can see the reti testis. They are epithelial lining channels lined with simple cuboidal epithelium. Straight segment lined with Sertoli cells and simple cuboidal epithelium connect seminiferous tubules to the reti testis. Between the seminiferous tubules, we can see the interstitial tissue with interstitial cells or Leydig cells. This slide is section in the epididymis. This is epididymis. We can see long coiled ducts with pseudostratified columnar epithelium. This is epididymis, which is long coiled ducts lined with pseudostratified columnar epithelium. In the lumen, we can see aggregation of sperms. This epithelium has two types of cells. Tall columnar cells called the principal cell. Small rounded cells called the stem cells. Epithelium, pseudostratified columnar epithelium with non-motile stereocilia. Two types of cells, columnar cells called the principal cells and the small rounded cells called stem cells. This is aggregation of sperms found within the lumen of epididymis. Stereocilia, non-motile stereocilia. This slide is a cross section in the vas deferens or ductus deferens. Vas deferens is a long, straight tube with thick muscular layer and relatively small lumen. Vas deferens or ductus deferens, thick muscular wall with small lumen. This is the mucosa of the vas deferens, which is lined with pseudostratified columnar epithelium. The mucosa is slightly folded longitudinally. Muscularis layer consists of inner, outer longitudinal and middle circular. This layer is the adventitia and external adventitia, a layer of connective tissue with blood vessels. Cross section and vas deferens. Pseudostratified columnar epithelium. Muscularis, inner, outer longitudinal and middle circular. And this is adventitia. This is the lining epithelium, pseudostratified with two types of cells, columnar cells and small rounded stem cells. ضروري طلاب يعني تميزون الفاز ديفرنس. احنا بالمختبر السابق اخذنا الاوفيدكت تميزوها ايضا راح تكون بشكل تيوب وكروس سكشن، لكن نميزها من خلال اللايننج ابيثيليوم. الاوفيدكت كان اللايننج ابيثيليوم سمبل كولومينر ابيثيليوم، تمام. الفاز ديفرنس مثل ما تلاحظون هو سيدو ستراتيفايد كولومينر ابيثيليوم with two types of cells، تمام. بالاضافه الى انه الاوفيدكت يعني كانت بالكروس سكشن واضح الميزنتري اللي هو الميزوسالفنكس، تمام. هنا بهذا السلايد مثل ما تلاحظون كروس سكشن يعني surrounded by adventitia، thick adventitia، تمام. هاي الفرق تميزوها من وجود الادفنتيشيا واللايننج ابيثيليوم سيدو ستراتيفايد كولومينر ابيثيليوم، لانه الاثنيناتهم راح تكون كروس سكشن، تمام. The accessory gland of male reproductive system is the prostatic gland. The prostatic gland is a dense organ, consists of from 30 to 50 tubulo-alveolar glands, embedded in a fibroelastic stroma. This is the gland, tubulo-alveolar glands embedded in fibroelastic stroma. The lining epithelium of the gland is simple columnar or pseudostratified. The main characteristic feature of the prostatic gland is the presence of a pseudophilic structure called a prostatic concretion or corpora amylitia. An acidophilic material, partially calcified, called prostatic concretion or corpora amylitia. هذا كلش مهم انتبهوا عليه طلاب. Prostatic gland, tubulo-alveolar gland, embedded in fibroelastic stroma, corpora amylitia or prostatic concretion. Last slide, section in the urethra. This is the lining epithelium of urethra. The lining epithelium is stratified cuboidal or pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium with area consists of stratified squamous epithelium. Stratified columnar, pseudo-stratified columnar, and area with stratified squamous epithelium. This tissue called erectile tissue. Within this tissue, we can see a gland called Litteri glands. The lining epithelium of this gland similar to the lining epithelium of the urethra. Erectile tissue, Litteri glands, the lining epithelium of urethra. Litteri glands. This is the lining epithelium, consists of stratified columnar pseudostratified with area of stratified squamous epithelium. All slides are stained by hematoxylin and eosin. عندكم سؤال مو واضح طلاب؟
شلون فرق بين السكندري سبرماتوسايتس
سكندري ما نشوفها.
لا عفوا البرايمري.
البرايمري تكون كلش كبيره بداخلها الكروموسومز. الايرلي تكون فيري سمول كلش صغيره. هم راوندد بس سمول قريبه من اللومن. تمام؟